You ever find yourself in a relationship that just feels like a psychological maze? You know, one with no exit, where you're constantly trying to solve a puzzle that just makes absolutely no sense. Well, let's get into it, because today we're breaking down the escape plan from that exhausting, draining trap of a narcissistic relationship. It always starts with this one very natural question that can just completely take over your life. Why are they like this, right? But what if I told you that the very act of trying to figure them out is the trap? Seriously, this is the core of their entire strategy, and just understanding that is your first real step to breaking free. There's actually a term for this pattern: crazy making. And look, this isn't just random, chaotic behavior. It's a deliberate tactic. Think of it like a Pandora's box that's been specifically engineered to make you question your own mind, your own sanity, and over time, to just run you into the ground mentally and emotionally. It's a feature of their behavior, not a bug. So here's the absolute key. They are not looking for a resolution. They're not trying to find a connection with you. Their one and only goal is something called narcissistic supply. And what is that? It's simple. It's your reaction. The drama, the chaos, your anger, your sadness, that's what they feed on. And trust me, they will get that supply by any means necessary, and they really don't care who gets hurt in the process. And this is why pleading with them, trying to negotiate, or just hoping they'll change is frankly a dead end. We're talking about behaviors that are part of a fixed, deeply ingrained personality disorder. And that means the behavior isn't going to change, no matter how much you might wish it would. They'll just wash their hands of any responsibility and tell themselves, hey, I'm good, you're the one with the problem. So what is it that makes these relationships so incredibly toxic? Well, it often boils down to this fundamental clash between two very, very different types of people. On one side, you've often got what's called a highly sensitive person, or an HSP. This is someone who feels things really deeply and genuinely seeks connection. And on the other side, you've got the narcissist, who, well, lacks empathy, can't regulate their own emotions, and is only seeking that supply. While the HSP is amazing at building relationships, the narcissist is often really skilled at acquiring stuff, houses, cars, money, all while their personal life is a complete and utter disaster. It's honestly like trying to mix oil and water. It just won't work. As this quote puts it so perfectly, these are two different energy types sharing the same space, and the result is pretty much always going to be conflict. It's not about one being good and the other bad. It's about a basic foundational incompatibility. And this right here is such a critical point. For a highly sensitive person, the danger isn't feeling deeply. That's actually their superpower. The real danger is when they get stuck up in their head, trying to logically analyze behavior that is fundamentally completely illogical. You're basically trying to make sense out of nonsense, and that, right there, is the fast track to total mental exhaustion. Okay, so if overanalyzing is the trap, then what's the escape hatch? This brings us to the breakthrough, the absolute key to getting your balance and your power back. See, the narcissist thrives by keeping you in this state of imbalance. They want you stuck in your head, analyzing their every move, while your emotional state is just a wreck of stress, anger, and confusion. And have you ever noticed how they almost seem to relax after a huge, heated argument? It's because they're being fed. They are literally getting their narcissistic supply from the chaos they just created. But there is a solution, and it's a shift that is so powerful, it becomes a total game changer for you, and you guessed it, game over for them. It's this powerful move that just completely flips the dynamic of the relationship and starves them of the supply they so desperately need. So how do you pull this off? It's really a three-step process of redirecting all that amazing energy of yours. First, and this is the absolute biggest one, you have to stop trying to figure them out. Just stop. Second, you turn that powerful analytical mind of yours back onto the reality of the situation. And third, you give yourself permission to honor your feelings about that reality, the anger, the sadness, all of it, by expressing them in a safe space, like with a good therapist or a trusted friend. Okay, so that's the strategy. Now, let's get practical. Let's talk about the actual toolkit you're going to need to execute this escape plan. Your toolkit is all about one thing: self-preservation. This becomes your new #1 priority. It means finding that safe support system where you can actually process what's happening. It means consciously combining your critical thinking about the situation with your emotional response to it. So here's the big shift. You take the spotlight off their crazy-making motives and you shine it directly onto your own health and your own well-being. And here's why this is game over for them. When you finally achieve this balance of thinking critically for yourself while honoring your own feelings, you are no longer a source of supply. The narcissist has nothing to work with. The chaos engine they built to power themselves up, it just runs out of fuel. You've effectively put them in checkmate. Executing the escape plan, that's a huge step. But what comes next? Let's talk about the final phase, which is often the most challenging one, building a new life after you've gone no contact. It is so important to understand that going no contact is not like a normal breakup, not at all. It's a complete and total change of reality. You're literally moving from one world into a totally different one. And that transition, it can feel overwhelming, even intimidating. It's a real transformation that takes time and a lot of conscious adjustment. So, to really thrive in this new reality, there are 3 key adjustments. First, you have to take off the rose-colored glasses for good and see that person for exactly who they are and what they represent. Second, you have to consciously decide how you want to exist now as someone who no longer invests in this kind of dysfunction. And finally, you have to take the time to reconnect with yourself. So many people in these situations have a bit of an identity crisis because they've been so wrapped up in the other person's world. And that's really the ultimate question this whole journey leads to, isn't it? After you've escaped the trap, after the chaos has settled, and after you've stopped trying to make sense of their story, you're left with the most important project of all, discovering and building your own. So who are you, really, outside of their story?
Take 1 minute to write freely while focusing on a couple of critical questions. No judgment, just honesty. First, what positive changes have I made to enhance self-reflection? Reflective journaling is common in therapy and coaching contexts. This type of journaling focuses on analyzing daily experiences and emotions while helping to identify patterns in personal growth. Second, what can I learn from this experience? Relationships tend to be for the purpose of learning valuable lessons designed for personal growth. Celebrate your milestones. Acknowledge and celebrate progress to stay motivated and committed to your journaling. Remember, journaling is personal and a powerful focus tool to use along your journey, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. You don't have to carry it alone. The most important thing is to make it a supportive and enriching practice that helps you explore your inner world and navigate life with greater clarity and well-being. So, let's write it out.